last list, there were a lot of times I referenced characters that I didn't actually cover on my character section in other characters' entries. So, after reviewing what was left over and seeing what popular characters there were left to do, I decided to say, screw it! I'm going to do the rest of the non-PC98 characters, because, well, no one really cares about the PC98 characters. So, I'm going to cover the rest of them right now. Get a drink, grab a sandwich, join me because we're gonna be here a little while. Also, one last note, I'm only covering the canon games. So I'm not covering the in-canon doujin or anything, so no Renosuke, none of the Lunarians, nothing like that. So, without further ado, let's dive in. Immediately breaking my own rule, there is still one PC98 character worth mentioning. Shinki is the goddess of Makai, making her, Touhou's Satan figure. Fun. Maybe during the Gensokyo Rapture, she'll lead her forces against Yokai Christ, aka Byakuren. Like Mima, many fans want her to return in the game. Again, like Mima, it doesn't look like it's happening anytime soon. A seemingly weak yokai only seen during winter, she's often paired up with Sono due to both of them being cold-weather creatures. Rang is a nine-tailed kitsune in the service of Yukari. Any Naruto fan should already know how badass those things are, but for everyone else, one could easily defeat most of the final bosses in the series. Fortunately for Gensokyo, Yukari is the type of master that would have her servant prepare dinner for her instead of wrecking people and yokai. While being highly intelligent and able to speak, for all intents and purposes, Ran still is an animal, and often gets treated as such. Three musicians that travel Gensokyo who once guarded the entrance to the Netherworld. They haven't been mentioned since Touhou 9, where they were actually playable characters. An exile from the Moon Kingdom, she is the effective leader of Team Moon Bunny. Not their canon name, mind you, simply what I call them. As her title suggests, she's the strategist of Iante, and was the leading medical mind of the Moon, and, well, later Gensokyo. These days, she's content selling super drugs in order to support Iante Manor. She is also likely the oldest living creature on Gensokyo, and older than all known non-living creatures too, for that matter, save perhaps, possibly Yukari? The actual leader of Team Moon Bunny and eternal rival Demoku. Literally, both are immortal, and cannot die under any circumstance. Kaguya was exiled to Earth with Eren ages ago and stays holed up in the Iante Manor. She relies on her followers for just about everything, with the only thing she seems willing to do herself is murdering Moku, and, well, getting murdered back. They have a special relationship. A half-beast that takes it upon herself to defend the human village. She also has power over history, which is pretty ridiculous. Shikeki is a Yama, or in other words, when a mortal dies, she decides who goes to heaven, and who goes to hell. While she's not often seen in Gensokyo because of the extreme nature of her responsibilities, when she is, she's often tracking down a slacking Komachi, lecturing anyone she comes across about their various faults. Naturally, she's not well liked due to this. A yokai doll striving for the liberation of all dolls in Gensokyo. Unfortunately, she is currently the only sentient doll, so her goal is stupid and impossible. While a young and weak yokai, her poison can affect even far more powerful and experienced creatures, so everyone just takes it upon themselves to avoid her. She possibly holds a grudge against Alice. A minor goddess with the power to turn leaves. Unfortunately for her, her domain gives her no fighting prowess, so she's simply a first stage mid-boss, being so weak that even Daiyose could slap her around. The goddess of Hades, Mino Riko, is only slightly stronger than her older sister, making her a complete joke for a deity as far as combat is concerned. Hina is a curse goddess who spends her time scaring off any human stupid enough to scale Yokai Mountain. However, she does it to keep humans safe from the deadly yokai that inhabit the mountain, so she's not actually evil. Yasaka, unlike the other quote-unquote gods of Yokai Mountain, is the real deal. She commands the wind and rain, is a significant threat in battle, and she's even brought over rudimentary science from the human world. She is also quickly becoming the primary antagonist in the series, responsible directly or indirectly for most of the incidents in Gensokyo as of late. She is such a beast in combat that she took over as deity of the Moria Shrine after beating the former goddess Sawako into submission. Sawako is the eldest of the gods residing on Yokai Mountain, and one of the oldest creatures on Gensokyo. That being said, she is not as powerful in battle as Yasaka, but still has significant power as she is the goddess of the mountains, giving her control over Earth. While no one worships her anymore really, she still hangs out on Yokai Mountain. Also, Sanea is her direct descendant, meaning she had to breed at some point, making her the only confirmed non-virgin in Touhou canon. Fun fact, I'm sure there's a doujin on that subject out there, believe me. Fearsome may not be the right word. As being a stage 1 mid-boss, she is a complete joke. Nothing is really known about her aside the fact that she is, well, shy. A yokai spider, Yamame doesn't actually hate humans and is actually quite pleasant, like an arachnid Casper. However, her power to manipulate illness and poison doesn't make her many friends. Plus, she can manipulate jealousy. Too bad she can't control her own, but she has to sit there and defend the bridge for all eternity. So, you can kinda see why she's a touch green. And only like Suika, Yugi is no slouch in combat. She, along with Suika, were once 2 of the 4 divas of the mountains. And despite being easygoing and fun-loving, both are not creatures you ever want to make angry. One of the more significant characters I didn't cover in the last video, Rin is a necromancer, and the character responsible for the Gaizon's subterranean animism. As one of Satori's pets, along with Utsuhu, she gets a lot of screen time in doujin starring the SA crew. As one would expect of a mouse yokai, Nazring isn't a powerhouse. However, she is good at finding treasure, and she commands other mice. Expect Tom and Jerry hijinks involving her with Chen and Ring in doujin. All this weak yokai wishes to do is scare humans. Too bad the 3 humans running around Gensokyo most of the time can kick gods around, so little Kogasa doesn't have much of a chance. That of course doesn't stop her from trying though, over and over again. She can use a Nyudo, a yokai Buddhist monk thing, I don't really understand it, named Unzen to attack people. She is resourceful and quick-witted, but no match for some of the broken things greater yokai can do. Often is overshadowed by oozing and fanworks. She is the captain of the Powerpoint ship, a roving airship flying around Gensokyo. She also gets around in doujin, sometimes replacing Popeye, other times sinking the Titanic. A strong yokai with the power to attract treasures. She worked with Minamitsu to revive Byakuren. Also has some extremely difficult spell cards. Formerly a human, this Sunk sought to make coexistence between humans and yokai possible, and was sealed off by a bunch of prickish humans as a result. Even after being unsealed, she bears no grudge, still seeking to walk the same path she once did. She has the nickname of Yokai Christ among some fans due to her saintly demeanor and backstory. A strong yokai that enjoys scaring humans, and is actually badass enough to be feared. She looks really odd, and recurs a couple times in the series. Fans don't really do much with her, making her probably the least liked extra boss in the franchise. The stars of Strange and Bright Nature Deity and the antagonists of Fairy Wars, these fairies go around playing pranks on the denizens of Gensokyo. While they're fairly strong as a team, able to achieve feats no other fairy could, they were still handed their asses by Sono, even as a complete unit. Kyoko's only appearance has her attacked without provocation while sweeping Yokai Christ's temple. At what point were our heroines supposed to be good guys again? Just poor girl. Yoshika is a Chinese zombie with the ability to eat and absorb anything. Neat. Fortunately for everyone, she's intelligent enough to be loyal to Saiga, meaning there won't be a zombie apocalypse on Gensokyo anytime soon. I don't know how wicked she really is, as the only thing she's really done is try to spread Taoism across Japan and resurrect Yoshika. That's about it. At least she's devout towards Miko and her philosophy, so she can't be that bad. She can also walk through walls. Do I even need to tell you where fans decided to go with that one? Soga is a ghost with the power to summon thunder, and another disciple of Miko. Otherwise, she's largely unremarkable. The end boss of 10 Desires, and possibly the weakest end boss in the franchise canonically, Miko is a Taoist saint sealed away for some reason by probably the same dickish monks that sealed Yokai Christ. She ends up creating her own world for him. It's called Senkai. Mamizo is a shape-shifting tanuki. While decently powerful, she is probably the least powerful extra boss in the franchise. Of course, she's still a fan favorite, and she finds herself in the Mushroom Kingdom fairly frequently in fanworks, or in parodies of Puella Magi Madoka Magica. Hata has the ability to manipulate emotion and a collection of 66 masks, each representing an emotion. When Koichi stole her Mask of Hope, her power went haywire and installed the humans of the human village with perpetual hopelessness. When the minor religious war broke out soon after, Hata got really pissed and attempted to put down Reimu, Byakuren, and Miko, but to no avail. Eventually, she gets her mask back and all is mildly well. She is possibly the only mermaid in Gensokyo. This weak yokai was nearly eaten by Keguro before being beaten by Reimu and company. She also lives in Misty Lake. Neighbors to Sono, no doubt. This yokai can detach its head to attack the player. Not much else to talk about here unless you want to bring up those creepy Yukuri things or whatever, but not today. No. Kagero is possibly the only werewolf in Gensokyo, and lives in the bamboo forest of the lost, you know, near Team Moon Bunny. She doesn't like transforming because she gets all hairy, otherwise she's a fairly weak yokai. Getting on the Prism River Sisters action, these sisters attack with songs against the player together. Kind of a ripoff, really. The Prism River Sisters Sutsu. Aside from being a really trippy boss fight, Saija is the main culprit behind the events of Double Dealing character, trying to instigate social upheaval just for the hell of it. Completely insane, her ability of flipping things over is dangerous, but not as apocalyptic as, say, Flandre or Utsuhu. Also good at flipping tables. Using her enchanted Lucky Mallet, she can grant the desires of anyone, including herself, meaning that she has nearly limitless power. The fact that she actually loses to Reimu's group obviously shows that she's unable or unwilling to use her ability to the fullest. Also, for no apparent reason, she's associated with Abraham Lincoln and fanworks for reasons that defy logic. Way to go, fandom! Raiko can ride any rhythm. That's kind of it. Easily the lamest extra boss to date, and another ripoff of the Prism Rivers. They really need to contact their lawyer immediately, don't they? Bring back the Prism Rivers, goddammit! And with that, that is every Touhou character that I'm aware of up until the time of recording this, March 2014. Now, if I ever have to do another one of these lists, throwing myself off a bridge. Anyway, see you back here for the rest of the retrospective.